Hey everybody, and welcome to MMOFTW here on MMORPG.com. I'm your host, Bill Murphy, and this is the week that was in MMO and RPG news. Now this week was kinda slow, but there might have been one big thing going on, so let's start with that. That's right, World of Warcraft, on its 10th anniversary, or just about its 10th anniversary, launched its 5th expansion, the Warlords of Draenor, and then it promptly suffered from some DDOS attacks. That's right, every AAA expansion, every AAA release seems to be hit with these things these days, and while a lot of players think that it's just an excuse, you can easily go to any DDoS tracking website, just Google one and find one, and you'll see that countries as far away as China were hammering Blizzard's Los Angeles and West Coast servers with login attempts and HTTP requests completely crapping out the thing. But it seems as of this recording that things have gotten a lot better, which is great because Warlords of Draenor, for all intents and purposes, seems to be the best expansion to Warcraft since the Burning Crusade back in 2006. And that's something I never thought I would say because I for all intents and purposes, I was kind of done with WoW. I'd pick it up every now and again just to sort of see how my characters were and kind of get that nostalgic feel out of the way, but after a couple days I would just leave it. Theme parks by and large I've gotten over them, but there's something about Warlords of Draenor that's pulling me back in, and I honestly think it's just the garrisons, and we'll see how long that lasts, but it's fun again, and I think a lot of players agree because you can see queues on a lot of servers. 600,000 people have returned for Warlords of Draenor, and that's all good stuff for Blizzard, as if they needed good news. Anyway, keep an eye on MMORPG.com for our official review and our review in progress articles as they happen over the next few weeks from Susie Ford. Next up is the Shards Online team is launching a new Kickstarter. You might remember them from in the middle of this past year, 2014. They actually launched a Kickstarter for their Ultima Online-esque MMO that didn't do so hot. However, the team is not really giving up. They're very dedicated to this project. They've gotten a lot of great press and great reception from fans, ourselves included. We gave them the best indie MMO at PAX East this past year. It really is an excellent looking game that's really come even further than the past several months since the first failed Kickstarter, and this time they're launching a new one that's asking for just $50,000 to sort of finish up their early release build so they can get the game out into the hands of their players and let players start building their own servers, their own worlds, their own rule sets, along with the developer-made servers and rules and GM events and all that other stuff. If you're a fan of Ultima Online and want to see it updated for a new generation, you really want to take a look at Kickstarter and the Shards Online team. And next up is the Pillars of Eternity news that we've all been waiting for. The pre-orders have begun. Early 2015 release is still coming for the Obsidian-made, Infinity Engine-inspired Pillars of Eternity RPG, but the pre-orders are now up. You can go pre-order the game for yourself across many different websites for as little as $40, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, $40.49 for the Hero Edition and $53.99 for the Champion Edition. That's 10% off if you pre-order between the 11th and the 24th of November. Then they go up to their full prices. Obviously, add 10% and you'll figure it out. There are some pre-order bonuses coming too, a couple mystery items and stuff like that. You get the digital original soundtrack, the making of documentary, some wallpapers, a digital high-res game map, ringtones for your phone, a digital campaign almanac, and the base game if you buy them from the Paradox store. So if you're really looking forward to this one, I would highly suggest checking it out. It's a very old school sort of golden age of team-based RPGs feeling MMO. I've been playing the beta a little bit here and there, but I'm trying not to spoil too much for myself. You'll definitely want to keep an eye on this one if you miss the days of Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale. Next up is WildStar. It's some good news for the game that everybody seems to be slacking on lately. WildStar released its giant, massive Mystery of Genesis Prime update with a whole bunch of new content for level 50s, and it's really polished, it's really looking good. There's a lot of quality of life improvements. You can read all of the first impressions from our own Gareth Harmer on MMORPG.com. Just go to the WildStar game page and look for the most recent article. It really is looking like the team put its act together and got this one out, and it's looking good. So if you're still a fan of WildStar and we're just waiting for this one to come around before you try it again, you might want to give it a shot. And last but not least, some more RPG news. The Witcher 3. The team at CD Projekt Red, the Polish team, mind you, these guys get gamers. They're not out there just for the money. They know that if they give you a quality product, you'll give them your money. And to that end, they announced that they're going to be offering 16 free DLCs. They're not going to be offering day one DLC that you have to pay $20 for. There are 16 free DLCs. If you go over to the official game website, you can see what all of those include. It's Temerian armor sets, beard and hairstyle sets, alternative looks of characters, more quests, and 12 more DLCs also to be announced soon. So if you get the game now, you get a whole bunch of stuff that most companies would normally charge you $3, $5, $10 for, all for free. That's not to say that they're not going to eventually be charging you money for other more expansive DLCs, but it's nice to see a company say, guess what, here's all this stuff that other companies would pay for that we're just going to give you. It could be a bit of marketing spin because they could just include these in the game and then you would never call them a DLC, but at the same time, it's good to see somebody saying, hey, look, DLC is kind of silly. Here's a bunch of free stuff that we're just going to give you. So if you're excited for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, it comes out in February of next year. There's still plenty of time to pre-order. Personally, we've seen the game several times at game shows, and I can't tell you just how good it's looking. The combat has always been the weak part of the Witcher games for me. Even The Witcher 2 just didn't work too well on PC combat-wise. It's always felt better on consoles, so I'm anxious to see how the PC version plays, and hopefully we'll get some hands-on time pretty soon, actually, to tell you how it is. Alright guys, that's it for this week. Big week coming up. We've got the launch of Dragon Age Inquisition, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. We'll be streaming more of it, and we already have our review out. If you look for the most recent reviews, you'll find Susie's glowing review of Dragon Age Inquisition, and as somebody who's also playing it, I can attest it is a really, really good game. It seems like BioWare's got their groove back with this one, so definitely keep an eye out for it. And we'll be back next week with more news and more opinions on the MMO and RPG industry. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube at MMORPG.com without the dot. And if you're into that sort of thing, you can follow me on Twitter at TheBillMurphy. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for watching, as always. And don't forget, don't let a bad pug get you down.